Hey guys, Upper Echelon here. So let's review GBPJPY trade real quick. So coming into the chart, we are rejecting this weekly order block, and if you look at the candle before the candle that rejected this weekly order block, you will see that we closed above it with rejection. So that's giving bullish intention, bullish intent, or bullish intention, whatever you call it. So this was the close, this was the candle low, and this was the candle high. So now the candles high become our draw on liquidity. So the candle high becomes our draw on liquidity. So let's mark that out, draw on liquidity. So then we now have a bias, we now have a narrative of where price is going to, although we also have to be cautious of this fair value gap. But if you look at the 4-hour time frame, let me draw the fair value gap. I want to explain it in detail. If you look at the 4-hour time frame, this was the initial fair value gap. This was the initial fair value gap here. This was the initial fair value gap. If you look at the fair value gap, if you go to the 4-hour time frame, you will see that there wasn't really a reaction there. Can you see? There was no rejection or reaction or any sort of thing. We are just going up. So now let's delete this and head to the daily time frame, because after weekly I don't just go to 4-hour, I go to daily. I want to see what's happening there. So this, we now have a draw on liquidity here, this high. This high is our draw on liquidity. Spread this a little bit. So we now have a draw on liquidity. So now let's check, are we in premium or discount? Which daily PD array would we use? As you can see, we have something like another block here. We have a fair value gap in this area. We have a fair value gap here in this area here. So what would we use? A premium and discount will validate that for us. So let us quickly draw the premium and discount. Sorry, let me draw the premium and discount. Okay, so this was the range low, and this is the daily range high here. So as you can see, the PD array I choose here was this demand zone. Why did I choose this demand zone? If you look, you will see the demand zone started rejecting from discount. So that's what gave me a conviction that I should pick the demand zone instead of the fair value gap or other PD arrays we had there. So this was the demand zone initially. So next stop now is coming to the 1-hour time frame. Next up is coming to the 1-hour time frame. So we now have a daily demand zone or a daily order block, and we have closed below the low and we've rejected. So we come to the 1-hour time frame. Now this is a very, very beautiful price action. If you know, you know. So we have this beautiful price action on the 1-hour time frame, and also, you know, exit is more important as entry. You have to know your exit, and obviously we can't use that weekly high we had before. We just have to look for a recent high. So I think this was the previous week's high. Yes, Thursday. Yeah, this was the previous week's high coming into this new week, Thursday too. So another thing that gave me conviction here also was Tuesday low of the week. Tuesday low of the week gave me extra convictions. So now we have this draw on liquidity. Now if you guys are familiar with how I trade on my Telegram channel, I dropped like a graphical representation of my textbook setup. So first thing I want to see when price gets to my higher time frame PD array is I want to see the first low or high that gets there should be taken out. So obviously this was the first low that got there. This was it. So it was taken out. That was a liquidity sweep. Then this low should create a high. This particular high that this low creates should be displaced. should be displaced. I don't want to see choppy movement. I want to see displacement. So although this was not really a good displacement for me, but it had a strong body close above, not only body, above the wicks too. So this was basically here. So this was the body close here, as you can see. So as the body closed, trying to make this stuff perfect. This was the body close here. So let's just label it as our market structure shift. So that's it. We now have a market structure shift, and we have a liquidity sweep or turtle soup or whatever you call it. Now the next thing is you just looking for a preferred PDRA you want to go in with. You can initially go in with this breaker. This is the closest PDRA. You can go in. You also have this QMR, Malaysian support and resistance trade. I use it the most. So this one is good for precise entries like that. Why is this stuff tripping this way? You can also use this is it here. Sorry, my magnet is on. Let me off that real quick. So good. You can also use this QM. You can use any close PDRA. So we also have this QM. So now next thing is you choosing your PDRA. We have QM, we have an inverse fair value gap here. Let me draw that out here. This was the inverse fair value gap. This was it here, IFVG. Label it out as IFVG. So we also had an inverse fair value gap. Let me delete this stuff. So you can use any PDRA of your choice. So I use the inverse fair value gap, and you can use the breaker. You can even sometimes price will get to this last order block. So just for you to use your preferred PDRA, then your long position comes next. So I actually entered here. It was Asian session I got in the trade. Target 3R, just 3R. That's it. You don't need much. So target 3R. And this was basically 3R here. And if you guys notice, I closed around here because I don't want to swing today. So target 3R, but this is the initial drawn liquidity, which is previous week's high. Target 3R, then you can also hold your trade here, which will give you 5R. But make sure you take partials or something. Pay yourself. So this is the trade initially, and that was how I got this trade. And I don't really use SMT, but if you want to use that confluence, let us use this leg here. As you can see, we created a low here on GBPJPY SMT. And if you look at USDJPY, so trading is simple. Like, I just use a very simple approach. I don't complicate things. USDJPY. On USDJPY, I also cut USDJPY longs too. As you can see, we created a high, we failed to create a low. So that's it. Let's go back to GBPJPY. GBPJPY. So that's how we got the trade. Let me use FXCM. So I cut one long here yesterday. This one I sent out to the channel that almost hit SL. I'll recap this later too, and I think this one too. So as you can see, that's it. I've been killing GBPJPY.